Hello! Well, it looks like Ippei's got quite a bit of punching ahead of him, huh? Yes, quite a bit indeed. And Jun is going to stay right there if he knows what's good for him. Well, it's actually better if he recovers, but I forgot about that at the time. His squads could have used a bit of healing. Yeah. They'll just have to man up or woman up and don't let little things like bullet wounds get in the way. Well, this shouldn't look like a huge decision, but what do I know? Hello? So it occurred to me roughly 15 seconds ago that maybe I should speed up the battles that only entail someone walking up and punching. Like, details such as whether the squads move forward first don't seem to matter a whole lot. So maybe I could shorten everything up to the actual punching. Yeah, that seems good. Not this video though. It's already running. Too late, man. Well, Ippei isn't going to have all the punching fun. Let's move Emilio in there. He's an Alpini. They never lose. They probably have to punch things all the time. That's part of their special mountain training. In order to truly understand the mountain, you have to punch it until it gives up. I don't actually know anything about their training. But I do know that it's important to check enemy movement possibilities before moving my own units forward. Especially because things like that can happen. Can you imagine if I moved him in range of everything right there? Well, since Ippei is surrounded, or potentially surrounded to that degree, it seems prudent to even things out a bit. It feels weird making excuses for knocking out enemy units. Well, I've encountered a couple of players, especially in written works, mostly game FAQs, whose style is not to worry too much about killing enemy squads because knocking out the AFW ends the unit regardless. I guess it makes a certain level of sense. Well, everyone except Cansado can be given a build like that. I guess a more prudent way to look at it would be if they put units like shooters or mechanics and supply forward as their main strategy, it's probably better to shoot them first. Because they don't take a huge amount of trouble to remove. Oh well. That's the price I pay for not using Quick Move when I have 7 maximum attacks stored up. When I'm in a situation like every Ring of Red mission where there's some reward that's based on time, especially one where we're not sure what the cutoff is, I really don't like having units stand in place. It doesn't feel right, even when it's definitely the right decision. Well, so how should I follow up on this now that they've moved forward? This is gonna put Jun in the range of a lot of things if I move like that. Also, Ryoko is moving next and is perfectly capable of following up. Perhaps more so. She could easily attack at short range and punch them. For a really gritty, semi-realistic game, there's an awful lot of robots punching other robots. I guess they just couldn't resist. Although, maybe robot is not quite the right term for this. I don't know what the proper terminology is for this sort of thing. Because there's a whole lot of, I don't know, implications regarding what a robot is. We don't refer to tanks as robots. But just calling them walking war machines is, I don't know, clunky? I was really scared that this would push me out of close combat range, because then they could put wire on me and who knows what else might happen. Fortunately, that's not a problem, it turns out. This is never going to happen, of course, but if there was ever a modification of this game, forget the game mechanics or damage numbers or skills or anything like that. A mod that shortens animations and streamlines battles would be amazing. It would be the best thing. I don't care how they do it. Maybe you could, I don't know, press a button to skip animations or parts of them and just show the damage numbers or special effect or whatever. And why is that not in the base game? Did they play this themselves and figure, okay, this is fine? I mean, this game is great. I enjoy it a lot. But at the same time, I can very easily see why it was not a huge success commercially. Well, aside from it having no marketing, I mean. Well, let's see if I can push them back a little bit. And that was a really nasty snipe considering that I had hype morale going on. Ooh, that should throw off their shot a little bit. And that should throw off their walking a little bit. Yeah, man, E-Wire is amazing. I don't know how I'd handle anti-AFWs without it. Well, actually I do know, I just use normal wire. These guys are really lax on their cleanup. And I took a look at some of the details and I realized, wow, they took a lot of time aiming that shot. Like, the timer's half done and they haven't even taken their second shot yet. Well, not that I'm much better. Oh, you're starting to move forward again? Not for long! The way he rotates, the way it rotates its squads to make sure that they're never both in front at the same time makes me wonder if they're actually playing around my ink trap. Which is probably not true, but they've surprised me before with interesting things. What am I waiting for here? Oh yeah, I'm waiting for them to move forward so I can ink trap them. Smart AI or no, they can never resist moving forward a squad when they have a skill ready. Oh, really? Well, actually with that little time left they could have easily not taken that hit at all, so I guess I'll settle for their medics having 3 health left. After all, this did happen on their turn. I expect this one to go better. Because I don't have to worry about that whole E-wire thing. I can put both of my infantry units forward. It should be good times. Also, and it's important not to understate this, that anti-AFW had its legs completely broken on their turn. So I won't really have to worry about them for quite a while. Now, when dealing with 2 flash shots, it helps to work on timing. Like, I probably fired that a little bit early, and I'm gonna have my load gauge reset when there was a little bit of progress on it. But there's no real indicator saying when exactly they're gonna fire, so... Especially when you're already affected by flash shot, because the second it wears off, the other one is gonna fire, like that. Also, I was impatient and didn't wait for height morale, which is gonna cost me. In fact, I'm kind of gambling by keeping my left squad forward. Those medium AFWs have pretty strong anti-squad shots. In retrospect, I didn't have to take this particular anti-soldier shot because they just set down to aim. They weren't going to move those medics back anytime soon. And I could have left my infantry to deal with them. But I guess I was kind of spooked about that, basically. So now I'm just hoping that they made the same mistake. Wait, how did I not speed through that animation? I am extremely sorry. This is like a 15-second thing. Woohoo! Less woohoo! So this is going to kind of show how dangerous it is to have medium AFWs up front. The thing is, they have better armor than the other types, but they don't have special skills that can end the combat early or dodge enemy shots. Although, of course, light AFWs are risky as well when the enemy is packing a lot of... Oh, come on. A maximum attack and it at the right range and it missed? Oh, well. Actually, I should have done check fire. That is a 100% hit rate. What was I thinking? I didn't even notice that my gun was actually loaded at the time. I guess that's just how nervous I was, or something. Well, the enemy has wire, so it's no use trying to retreat from the battle, once again. And I definitely don't want to put my low health squad up front. So I'll just have to shrapnelize them. Okay, this is probably the only shrapnel opportunity I'm gonna have in this battle, and the reason for that is when my squad fires E-Wire, they're gonna move their supply squad back and probably leave their recon forward. I kinda wish you could tell your squad to not use their special skill, because I think in this case my E-Wire is going to sort of disrupt how I do things. Also, doing a little math, the enemy gets 3 shots in a particular battle. At least this kind of enemy. And from the damage displayed, it looks like 3 shots will destroy Ryoko's machine. It's very obvious that we don't want that. Also, 2 of those 3 shots can be APCR, which never miss. Well, and we didn't throw off their aim either. And they're probably taking their time to aim just to make sure, you know. On the other hand, oh boy. Actually, that was a pretty low damage roll, which means that if I close in to really short range, the APCR might not have enough bonus damage to finish the machine. Or they can try a normal shot at close combat range and we'll see. Oh wait, there's an idea. Yes, there's an idea indeed. Well, if they don't fire their APCR shell immediately, which they didn't, I can just not take any chances. Hooray! Options. We gotta use all of them. Is punching ever the wrong option? It sure isn't! Yeah, that particular damage result, if there was any doubt about whether they removed that whole close combat dealing more damage when there's a lot of time on the clock thing, well, there's no doubt about it anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Kinsato's got some tricky business ahead of him. That's right, they got 2 squads with wire. This is actually not a horrible idea. If the enemy has no cleanup, they can just charge both of them at the start and basically keep the enemy wired for the entire encounter. They didn't do that though, because I'm bringing an anti-squad setup and they get shot up really fast. So good on them for paying attention to what they have to do. So I don't think I'm going to be able to kill them fast enough for suppress fire to actually stop them from using their skills. Because it's nighttime, and I believe we've already demonstrated that base accuracy affects maximum attacks as well. I should probably put something with illumination shot ability on this team. In fact, an illumination shot recon seems like a good idea. Because snipe is great and all, but... well, you know what? It's early to say what works and what doesn't. Maybe a supply unit with illumination shot could also work, although then I'd be giving up E-wire. So it's just really tough to say overall, I suppose. Why am I not shooting? What's going on? Oh, that's right. I wanted to make sure to move the electrical wire up first because the setup time and the aiming time would delay the wire, which I definitely do not want. So, those supply, that supply squad has repair, as they tend to do. That doesn't affect this particular battle. Well, actually it does. It does mean that I won't get punched, and not getting punched is very nice, of course. However, it does mean that their supply is stuck in the back line using fast repair over and over. So, despite them being some of the squishiest along with shooters, I will probably not be able to remove them. I did remove their infantry squad, which is very useful. But it would have been much better if I was able to remove both squads. Like, could you guys just have fired non-electrical wire just this once? Okay, that's asking a bit much, actually. Well, I could have used another spray fire, but there's quite a few battles ahead, and he only has 2 maximum attacks left. So yeah. I don't honestly know if I've been too spendthrift with them. Excuse me. especially with Kinsado, it's a really difficult balance because his unit is designed such that he wants to use pretty much all of them constantly, and if you don't use them, you're gonna feel the difference. Now, in this matchup, they have a ground squad too. It's probably going to be a shooter, and they're probably going to have wire. And I will want to keep my squads forward. This looks like it could be a nasty. It looks like it's going to be very difficult and possibly costly, and they have a lot of health left. So it would have been a great idea, I mean an amazing idea, to equip the 8 APC shell unit. They don't miss, they do a lot of damage, and along with my mechanic and supply, I bet they could do the damage. But no, instead I was trying to be clever. I was trying to be the cleverest little guy. I was gonna put down 2 mines and use the old lure them in and then counterpunch them when their legs are broken thing. Because I thought that they were going to advance forward like a good anti-AFW. And that would be that. What I should have noticed was that against other anti-AFWs, they are considerably less trigger happy with the punches. I didn't especially need that cleanup because it caused me to go through that animation again. But whatever. We are now at medium range and there is no sign that they are going to close in. I'm gonna pretend that that rocket hit moved me out of the way of that shell. Also, being pushed to medium range means that my mechanics don't hit as hard. Wow. That is not a problem I expected with this opponent. You sure are in trouble. I don't think it's your fault this time, though. Wow, just how far was I pushed into medium, anyway? Well, that didn't go so well. Well, okay, that last shot does help a fair bit, but before that it was dead even. Remember what I said about being too spendthrift with stuff before? Well, that's the opposite. And we'll see the fallout from that next time. Later.